Hello everyone, welcome to a new section in our course How to Use VI Like a Pro from Avionics. My name is Ahmed and in this lecture we are going to explore some more advanced techniques to navigate in a file in VI. In VI, a screen, you can think of it as a page in a book. If you have a book that have, for example, 100 pages or 200 pages, if you open a very large file in VI distributes the sections of the file in the form of screens. And a screen in VI typically consists of 24 lines of text. This may be more or less depending on the version you are using of VI or if you're using Vim. Okay, but you gotta think of screens as just pages of a large book. So when you want to move in a book, you move by flipping the pages, maybe to a specific page from the index that you know that this page contains some useful information. So you flip the pages until you reach the page, for example, 25 or 30, and read the information you need. But how you can do that in VI? How can you flip the page? Well, VI provides some useful commands to do this. Let's take a look at them one by one. You have Control F, okay? This will make you move one screen forward, Control B, one screen backward, Control D, half screen forward, Control U, half the screen up, Control E, one line forward, and Control Y, one line backward. Let's have a look at these commands in an example. So if we have a look here in this sample file we have opened in VI, you can see that this is a considerably long file of text. So this part of the file is called the screen, okay? It starts from the top to the bottom. If I want to move one screen ahead, I will do this, okay? Control F second time, third time, okay? Until I reach the end of the file, okay? So here, as you can see, this is the end of the file. Let's go back to the start of the file. And if I want to move one screen backward, I will do Control B. So here is the place where I started. Control D will let me move half a screen forward. It's just half the screen that has been scrolled. This is very useful when you're reading something. For example, let's say you're reading a text, you're reading a README file, for example, that describes how to install a program or software on your Mac or your Linux machine or even on Windows. Okay, and you don't have to use Notepad or Word in order to open a text file. You can use VI and use these scrolling techniques in order to read the text in a convenient fashion. Let's click Control D once more again. And imagine that you are reading here, for example, and you reach it here and you want to scroll just again and again. You are moving half a screen by half a screen. And if you want to move back half a screen, it's Control U. Okay, till you reach the top of file. So what if we wanted to move just one line at a time? Okay, it's Control E. Control E just gives you one line. Let's have a look here at this down. Yeah, we're moving one line at a time. One line. And we can move back one line by pressing Control Y. Okay. So these are very convenient ways to move in a file by screen. So what if you want to make a screen repositioning? Screen repositioning means that, for example, if I'm reading a long text in a screen, as we said, let's have a look here, and let's say that when I'm reading this, I want this line remain valid, who misses uneasy, and so on. So I want this to be at the top of the screen so that I can read the rest of the lines in an easy way. This depends from one person to another. One person may resort to moving screen by screen or half a screen by half a screen. This is just another convenient way we can use VI powerful tools to reposition the text. I will just enter Z and enter, and as you can see, the file, the line that starts with remain valid is positioned to the top, and the rest of the lines have been scrolled underneath it. Let's try that again. For example, on this line that starts with received. Okay, it's Z and enter. And yes, the whole text that was under this line got scrolled, and this line became the first line in my screen. So what if I want this line to be at the center of the screen? This is another convenient way where I can provide an easy way to read the file. So it's C and dot. Okay, and as you can see, the line is now centered at my screen, this line here. Okay, maybe I want this line to be at the bottom of my screen. This time it's Z and the minus sign or the dash. As you can see, this line got at the bottom of the screen and all the preceding text moved before it. And as we said, and we are noting that this is not a way of editing a file. This is just a way of reading a file. If you're reading a long file, these commands will become handy in order just to scroll back and forth between the text you are reading. It should not be used to make any editing or changes to the file. And there is an important distinction here to make. In all the other commands that you have seen in VI, when they are preceded by numbers, they interpret these numbers as the number of times to execute the command. But with the repositioning commands, like for example the Z command, if you're preceded by a number, it interprets this number as the line number. So for example here, as we said, I am here at this line and I want to reposition it like this to the top. But what if I want to precede this command by a number? The number this time will present the line number. So let's do this command, and I will explain this command later in this lecture. This command actually prints the line numbers beside the line. It's a very handy way in order to know which line you are standing in. So for example, let's say I want to reposition this line to be at the top. This line is number 13, as you can see here. So let's type 13C and enter. And yes, the line number 13 was repositioned to be the first line in your screen, and all the other lines of text got scrolled under it. Now let's say you want to move inside the screen without scrolling. You want to move the cursor, or let's say jump the cursor to specific parts of the screen. VI gives you that handy commands: H for home, M for middle, L for bottom. Let's have a look at these. So imagine I'm in the middle of the file, I'm just editing something, and then suddenly I decided that I want to go to the home. I just press capital H, and as you can see, the cursor has been quickly jumped to the first line in the screen. And here you have to make a very important distinction, that H moves you to the first line in the screen and not in the file. If you want to move to the first line in the file, as you recall, it's 1G, or the line number, and G will make you move to the specific line number. But H is useful when you are, let's scroll a little, you are inside a screen and you want to move to the top of the screen. So H becomes here handy. If you want to move to the middle of the screen, jump to the middle of the screen, just press M, and it's capital M, okay? And this is roughly the middle line in this screen. It's line 35. And if you want to move to the last line in the screen, it's capital L. And coincidentally, the last line in the screen is an empty line. It's line 44. And VI also gives you some convenient ways to move to the specific line you want without even knowing the line number. So let's say, for example, I have some error or something that needs to be replaced or edited, and I know that this is the 5th line after the first line in the current screen. So let's say here is the line number 29, 5th lines will be number 34. I don't have to type 34 in G, I can just type 5H, okay, and it moved me to 5 lines after the first line in the screen, which is 29, but it counted 29 as a number, so it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so it moved me to 5 lines under the first line in the screen if I typed 5 followed by H. And similarly, if I typed, for example, 4 followed by L, it will move me to the 4th line before the last line in the current screen. This may not be very intuitive now when you are experimenting with an example file, but imagine that you are these commands work best when you are working with text files that contain source code for a program or, for example, a project you're working on. These become very handy when you want to quickly jump to a line that you know, for example, that this function contains 4 lines. So this function is at the start of the screen and you want to move to the 4th line, the start of the screen, which is the last line of the function or something. So you press 4 in H. This will become handy when you are programming or editing source code. Believe me, it will. Now, let's say you are moving, for example, you are at this line and you want to move to the first line and the first character in the next line. You just press enter and you are always at the first character in the next line. So instead of having to move to the end of the line with the $sign and then move with your commands like W, for example, to jump a word, you can use this handy way. It's just enter and it will scroll the screen if you want to. And similarly, if you want to use another character, it's plus. Plus will do exactly the same effect as enter. It will jump the cursor to the first character in the next line.